Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews. Have you ever wondered what games you should sell or you should use? Find out here at Purge Reviews. Find out on our top 10 list what games you cannot miss. Don't forget to subscribe to Purge
Isle of
Reviews.
Monsters is a fighting game, almost like a Pokemon type theme, where these monsters will be fighting each other for what's called scare points. And they're not really going to fight each other as much as they're just going to try to scare each other. The rule book is going to be very, very good, very easy to learn how to play. There is a 2-player variant and a little sample play here that will be in the game. Very, very good. You're going to get a number of these component boards, enough to play 5, and this will be the island in the center. And really, honestly, these are just placeholders. You really, really don't even need these, to be honest. You'll get a number of scoring chits, very thin cardboard. You will get a number of these tiles, which unfortunately you will have to sticker yourself, which explains why mine are all sideways and crisscross. And you will get a deck of cards with these monsters on them. So when the game is set up, you'll have these island strips that will be out. These are just going to hold cards and tokens they come out. Then you'll have these cages. These cages, there'll be one in front of each player. So I'm going to scoot this over just to show. So the one we're playing here, we'll have this in front of us. We'll be playing our workers. And then we will be able to get things off of these 2 islands only. So this island over here that has a cage in between it, will not be accessible to us to get any animals, creatures, or food off of it. So we can get food from here, 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 cards from here and here. So this is kind of be our little playing area, while this guy will be working off of this set. So when the game is set up, you're going to have a cage in front of you, 2 little island strips in beside you, and a center one that everybody will play off. So everybody will be pulling off of this one. The cards and food tokens I have available will be off of these 2 and the center. So this guy will be playing off these 2, and this guy will be playing off these 2. And everybody has access to the center board. So when the game starts, you'll have a number of cards that will be face up here, here, and all the little island strips. You'll have 2 food tokens on each of these outer ones, and 4 in the middle for a 4-player game. You have an option of doing one of 3 things on your turn. You can take one of the creature cards off the island that is next to you and put it in a cage. Keep in mind, you only have room for 3 monsters at a time. Another thing you can do is you can take a food token, either off the middle or off the 2 islands that are connected to you, and you would put it on the creature. Now each creature in the deck is going to have a certain amount of food that they want. In this case, 2 yellows. In this case, he would want 3 pinks and 3 yellows. In this case, he would want 1 blue, 1 yellow, and 1 pink. And that will differentiate into your decisions that you're going to be making. And you continue to take either another creature card or more food until you want to pass. So let's say my turn, I ended up like this. I'm ready to pass, and the first person that passes takes the drawstring bag and will be the start player next turn. I'm done, and let's say all the other players are done, and now I have 3 animals or creatures in front of me. 2 are completely fed, and this one is not. If it's not completely fed, it just stays in front of you until next round. If it is completely fed, you take the food tokens off of it. Those will get deposited back into the draw bag. And I will take these cards face down in front of me with any cards that I've already completed on previous rounds. So let's say this is my hand in the second round. I have a brown one, I have 2 blues, and 3 of the fire. So what I can do on my turn, and we're all doing this simultaneously, is I'm going to play 1 set of all of the cards I have. So I could play the 1 brown, either the 2 blues, or the 3 yellow fire ones. So let's say I was to play the 1 brown. So I would play this face down, and everybody would turn it over at the same time. Then you would add up the score, and whoever has the highest number, doesn't matter what type it is, just these numbers, you add them up, will get 3 points. Okay? If I had played the 3 fire, I would have 13. If I had played the 2 blue, I would have 12, and of course the brown would just give me 5. The first thing you do is whoever has the highest score gets 3. If there's a tie, everybody gets 1. Then I take the guy to my left and my right, and this guy right here would defeat any blue. So if this player played a blue, I would get 1 point. If this person played a blue, I would get 1 point. If these two guys did not play a blue, then I don't get any additional points. If the person across from me in a 4-player game played a blue, I don't score anything. The blues act the same. So the blues will score me if anybody played a fire. This guy or this guy adjacent to me, but not anybody else. And on the fire, if anybody had played brown, I would score the points. Then, and you'll do multiple rounds. So I'll play all my fire, round 1, score. Maybe play this the second round and score. And I would play this the third round and score. And sometimes I'll be by myself. Now these cards will all stay in my pile and be monsters I can play again in all preceding rounds. So these cards will always stay and try to scare other people on future rounds. And then you restart by filling out the food tokens, putting put 1 out on each pile, and the game will end when the pile deck is empty. So you play a certain amount of rounds each time. Then you look at these scare points. Whoever has the most scare points wins the game. Isle of Monsters is a game that you're probably going to play with your family. This is a lighter type game, and it has kind of an interesting theme of these cutesy monsters trying to scare each other, the ones on your side. For some reason, they don't want to scare the people directly across from you. But it's this interesting thing where you're caging these monsters, you're taking them out of the wild, you're putting them in these cages, and then you feed them a little bit, and then they'll fight with you forever. So you never have to feed them again. And you're putting them in cages. It's just this kind of this weird theme when you actually sit down and think about it, but you won't. You're just going to have fun with it. So what you're doing is each round you have these islands that are next to you. They have food and they'll have cards on them. And you'll just take turns going around, and you can only really touch everything to the center, which only has food. And you can do the 2 islands that are next to you that have cards and food. So you need to kind of look, okay, you don't need blue, so I can leave this blue here a little bit longer, at least until you take a card, and then you might need blue, but that gives me a round. But she needs pink, and I need this pink, and there's 1 pink here, so I need to take it. That kind of thing. Which, for us gamers, probably makes some of the decisions pretty cutthroat and pretty obvious. And sometimes you say, well, I'm not going to get both because you need this, so I'm just going to grab this one over that one. It is what it is. The scoring is hidden. Not only what you score is hidden, so I don't know how many points you have unless I'm tracking it all up in the old noggin. But it's really hard to differentiate. So who's going to have a good round? Because it just depends on what cards they play. So it feels good as a light game. It feels good as a family game. But there's too much hidden information. There's too much unknown. And maybe a little bit too much luck to say, hey, we're going to play this gamer's game. It's not really set up for that. So let's talk about what I like about it. The artwork is incredible. I really like it. The weaker monsters look smaller, they look weaker. And sometimes, like my daughter, who is 7, was playing this with me, even though the box says 10. And she was like, that monster is weak looking. And she knew the monster was weak because it looked weak. And I really liked that. That really brought the world together. Where the bigger ones, well, not scary. We're not talking about the alien movies here. But they were bigger and hunkier and more Sully-like. Which is really good. The artwork is phenomenal on this game. What also I like is that you're really only dealing with these 2 players and you're kind of dealing with them. But it can also be a down. It can also be a flaw of the game that you have these other players and I don't really play against them too much. I'm not really worried about what they're doing. Now that's good because in a family game I only have to concentrate on my little world right here, my little box. Even though I'm competing against points with them, I can't really do anything if they're running away with the game. I'm relying on the other people. So you might want to go like mom, kid, dad, kid, mom, kid, dad, kid. That way, you're playing off of each other and it's equal. What I didn't like about the game is you're not really in control of a whole lot, which is okay from a family game. It is what it is. But you don't have a lot of control. And if you're collecting blue and you randomly don't get blue put out where you can get it, well, guess what? You're not getting blue. And I think there might be a runaway leader problem too, that if you have a good set of cards, I think that you might be able to run away with it. There are some ways to maybe differentiate and get different paths, but I don't know. We had a couple players who were pretty far behind and they stayed pretty far behind. With that said, I really do like this game. This is a really light card game you can play with your kids. I would say, it's not like the Habba crowd. It's kind of a jump up from that, but not quite into Ticket to Ride. I like that. Or any of your kids are starting to play Ticket to Ride, or they play Ticket to Ride First Journey, or My First Stone Age, this might be something they can understand. There's not a whole lot going on here, and you can kind of walk them through the battles. The battles or the scare competitions are really just paper, rock, scissors, and then kind of walk them through that. My 7-year-old picked it up. She came in 3rd place out of 4. She beat one of the adults, but she understood the concept that was going on as we played it. So this one actually worked out well for what I intended it to be, which is a colorful, cute family game that I can play with the kids today now and still have a little bit of strategy. I still like the game. I liked getting the monsters and I liked feeding them. My daughter's 7. I would consider her a drama queen and very sensitive. And she had no problem putting them in cages. I don't think it connected with her. And she was totally cool with that. So if that might be something that's worrying about you, throw it out the window. They're not going to notice. They're just collecting them. And I just told her it was their house. It just never even came up. It was fine. So really cool game. I'm glad I picked this one up at the Dice Tower convention. I think I paid like 20 bucks for it. And I got to tell you, I'm going to get my $20 and more worth out of it. This one will be a keeper, but it's going to be a keeper to play with the family and not with my gamer friends. So govern yourself accordingly. Thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate you tuning in. If you liked it, please like it and hit that little subscribe button. That really helps out the channel, lets us know that you're getting the videos that you want. If you agreed or disagree with what I said, feel free to comment below. I'd love to hear what you have to say, and I promise that I will comment back. Thanks for watching, and everybody else, keep playing games.